Penang is on the verge of rolling out a snazzy new land reclamation project, building 3 new islands to fund its 46 billion ringgit Penang Transport Master Plan. But is this massive project, which may potentially ruin ecology and livelihoods, the best possible solution for the island's transportation issues? First things first, land reclamation. It's basically digging up sand from one part of the sea and pouring it into another to create new land. Malaysia's second smallest state, Penang, is no stranger to land reclamation. The amount of reclaimed land in Penang has increased from 0.1 of its total land mass in 1960 to 0.3 in 1980 to 3.2 in 2015. Now, they're accelerating that growth by working on 2 new islands on the northern end of Penang. And they're also kicking around the idea of the Penang South Reclamation or PSR project. Both of these projects will bring the amount of reclaimed land up to almost 8,000 acres or 10% of the total island. Here's an idea of the PSR project scale. An estimated 189 million cubic meters of sand and rock are set to be hauled in from Perak, poured into the sea off the southern coast of Penang, and ta-da! 3 new islands! These islands are earmarked for a bunch of different uses, including expanding the state's electrical and electronics industry, housing a smart city full of green spaces and trams, and creating more space for affordable housing. But that's not all. These islands also act as land banks. They are estimated to raise about 70 billion ringgit, which would be used to fund the state's proposed Penang Transportation Master Plan, or PTMP, which is estimated to cost about 46 billion ringgit, including 8 billion for a new light rail train system. Penang is planning to take out a loan to pay for the PTMP on the contingency that they will be able to repay it via selling this new land to developers. Whatever extra money they have will go into driving the state's economy forward, according to Chief Minister Chow Kon-yu. Sounds good! And yet, NGO Coalition Penang Forum managed to gather 12,000 signatures in 9 days for a petition against the project. That's because the downsides to this project look pretty dire.
What these natural ecosystems have versus artificial structures that will be built on top of them is the kind of complexity like pits, crevices, grooves, tidal pools. These are essentially spaces or habitats for coastal organisms to grow. They find spaces to breed, find protection from predators and stuff like that. So you replace this complexity with the walls that are not complex at all. They are just cement. And so organisms find it hard to colonize these artificial structures in areas like the Taksana. They have endangered animals like sea turtles that come and nest there. There's high chance that they won't return to the coast anymore.
No microorganisms equals no fish equals no fishermen. According to a report by environmental NGO Friends of the Earth, the PSR project's Environmental Impact Assessment Report states that in 2015 there were almost 3,000 licensed fishermen operating within the impact zone, bringing in 42 million ringgit worth of fish, approximately 12.4% of the island's total value of fish landings that year. That's a lot of money to lose. And the damage might not just be contained to just Penang either. That 189 million cubic meters of sand and rock mined from Perak? Yeah, that's gonna mess with the ecosystem over there as well, affecting an additional 6,000 fishermen. Our other big land reclamation project, Forest City in Johor, has already caused its fair share of environmental damage. Fishermen have reported shoals of dead fish. The Tanjung Kupang intertidal seagrass meadow, the largest in Malaysia and home to dugongs, seahorses, and other marine life, is now surrounded by construction, imported sand, and machinery. And experts fear the same will happen to Penang. Think about it this way. We're living in an era where you can't get a plastic straw at McDonald's because it's bad for the ocean and marine life, and yet we dump sand and rocks on top of fish breeding grounds and reconfigure the nesting grounds of the same turtles we're saving from straws in the name of development? But there's a glimmer of hope. While there's no way to 100% cancel out the damage something as environmentally invasive as land reclamation causes, researchers are experimenting with something called ecological engineering.
Ecological engineering creates artificial habitat on the artificial structures and improves the biodiversity that you find on these artificial structures.
According to Dr. Chi, ecological engineering is meant to be a last-ditch effort to be carried out only if all other measures like redeveloping existing areas have been exhausted. And environmentalists are saying that this is not where we're at. In fact, that transportation plan this reclamation is supposed to fund, it might not even be necessary. Penang Forum has launched an alternative plan called Better, Cheaper, Faster, which is based off of the original version of the PTMP. The original plan, which cost a relatively low 27 billion ringgit and officially adopted by the state government as its transportation blueprint in 2013. The Better, Cheaper, Faster plan advocates going back to PTMP's roots, with similar recommendations like upgrading existing services like buses and ferries, as well as making the island more walkable.
What entails in the Penang Transport Master Plan is building of highways and also LRT. The highways are also going across environmentally sensitive areas like the hills, and also there will be tunnels built through the hills. This development that we feel is not justified at all. We don't need those roads. Building more roads is going to bring more vehicles. What we're looking for is to move people, not move more vehicles. And also there are some grey and brown areas in Penang which can be developed. For instance, in Batu Kawan, there's only thousands of acres of land which can be used for development.
What Malaysia lacks is clear laws and policies on development. Without any official push to prioritize redevelopment or ecological engineering for new developments, developers have a ton of leeway to build pretty much anything they want, anywhere they want. And is that really what we want for the future?